Joining us first on No Spin tonight is the woman who got Zubair out on bail. Vrinda Grover, advocate of the Supreme Court, joining us live and exclusive on NDTV tonight. Vrinda Grover, thank you for joining us. What a legal fight it's been for you, Vrinda Grover, given the multitude of cases that Zubair has faced and the harassment he's gone through over the last month or so. Take us through how significant today's order actually is.
I think it's a very important order, not only for Zubair, whose liberty has been restored. And the Supreme Court has on an earlier occasion said that even a single day's incarceration without cause is a day too many. And we know that Zubair has been inside for 23 days over a spate of arrests that ensured the evergreening of his custody, particularly in the state of UP. Old cases revived, new cases lodged, all on tweets, none of which actually make out any offense whatsoever, either in the Indian Penal Code or any other statute. So this was the abuse of the statutory power of investigation that the law endows on the law enforcement agency and the police. To that extent, the Honorable Supreme Court's order today not only brings personal relief to and restores the liberty of Zubair, but also reaffirms our rights, our guarantees both of personal liberty and of freedom of speech. This is not about dissent. This is about free speech. I may say something that somebody may dislike. I may say something that is inconvenient. I may point to the truth and to the facts which somebody may wish to mislead the public on. And if that is how in a democracy we engage, and that cannot be criminalized. And the idea is actually not just to target Zubair. Of course it is to target Zubair for his work, but also to send a chilling effect in society, to silence all of us as citizens. And the Supreme Court has said our rights are supreme. And this kind of abuse of power and incarceration, which the court described as vicious cycle, will not be countenanced.
Vrinda Grover, it's also significant, as I was pointing out in the introduction, that the Supreme Court has been talking a lot recently about the process being the punishment, the need to have bail as the rule and jail as the exception. And we heard that from the Chief Justice of India, no less, just a few days ago. The issue here is that message really going down to the lower judiciary? Because in a case like even Zubair's, it shouldn't have taken him 23 days to get bail.
You're absolutely right. It shouldn't have required an intervention by the apex court. The subordinate judiciary has the power, the authority given by law to grant bail in these cases. All the offenses against him, the maximum punishment is 3 years. The Supreme Court has said don't arrest in such cases. Why is the subordinate judiciary not exercising that power, not just in one state? But in all states of UP, not only was his bail being dismissed, the police is seeking remand. For what? Just because you've arrested somebody, can you now intimidate him, muzzle him, silence him, harass him? This is when the subordinate judiciary is the first frontier where civil liberties, freedoms must be protected. I think it is time, and particularly in light of what has been said by the Honorable Supreme Court, both through its judgments and outside the court, that the guidelines need to be laid down. Guidelines on arrest are violated by the police with impunity and brazenly, despite the Supreme Court having passed yet another judgment in Satinder Singh until just recently on arrest. The court now needs to lay down guidelines also for the subordinate judiciary to ensure that liberty is protected.
Right. Vrinda Grover, the other interesting thing today in court was, when the UP government wanted a gag order on Zubair, and Justice Chandrachud said, you can't gag a journalist. Unless he breaks the law, then the law will deal with him. Very important comment there, again, by Justice Chandrachud.
Absolutely. So what the UP state tried to do through its various FIRs, not succeeding there, then made a last-ditch attempt to actually silence the man who points to the truth and facts. And the Honorable Supreme Court, of course, did not at all allow such a thing. After all, a man has been granted bail. He has not been held guilty of anything. He has not even been charge sheeted for anything. Why will he not continue to exercise all the rights that every citizen in this country enjoys? To say that a gag order be passed at the time of allowing bail, it would be a complete miscarriage of justice here.
Finally, Vrinda Grover, what I'm talking about tonight as part of a bigger debate is this whole worrying trend of arresting people, for their social media posts. I was talking about Ketki Chitale, the actor who spent almost 6 weeks in jail in Maharashtra because she said something about Sharad Pawar that they deemed offensive. You have the case of Avinash Das, a well-known filmmaker who's been arrested by the Gujarat police today because he put up a photo of Amit Shah that they found offensive. Do you think that today's order would serve as an example to the lower judiciary where these cases are concerned, or do we still have a long way to go? Because, look, political powers are going to misuse their authority, it's clear, irrespective of who's in power.
Absolutely. All political parties abuse this authority and power, and we see this across states. There's no denying that at all. What I think is important at this juncture is that both the police and the state have to heed what the Supreme Court is saying, not once, but reiterating it in judgment after judgment. Today, what we are seeing is who is deviating from the rule of law, who is not adhering to what the Supreme Court is saying. It is the government, the political executive, and the police. They have to be made answerable, and citizens are actually facing the wrath of the state. The subordinate judiciary needs to step in promptly and immediately ensure just because the police ask for remand cannot be given. Is it necessary? Is it desirable? Is there anything of relevance? You can't just seize my devices for the asking. You can't take me from one city to the other or interrogate me ad nauseum when there is a tweet in front of you and there is nothing more to be done in that case. The subordinate judiciary must exercise the power of granting liberty. And for this, perhaps if more detailed guidelines are laid down, and police officers who make these kind of omnibus, vague remand applications, all manner of things are said while opposing bail, none of which has any bearing on facts or on material before the court. Surely the courts must put brakes on this, and perhaps guidelines for the subordinate judiciary to ensure that there is no curtailment of personal liberty. So, writing social media posts is a right. In digital age, we will exchange information across media platforms.
Absolutely.
The idea of hurt and offense needs to be explained to everyone, including the political leadership.
Absolutely.
Hurt and taking offense because I don't like something, well, in a democracy, then that is what you learn to live with. That is actually where you grow by hearing another person's viewpoint, which you disagree with and which you dislike. And the signal must come from the political executive.
Vrinda Grover, more power to you. Thank you so much for joining us on NDTV tonight. Thank you.